Well, guys, I have a dilemma. Today is November 6th, and tomorrow we are setting up at a craft show here in town. And the plan was to have a bunch of jarred honey ready to go. Um, and you fellow beekeepers that are watching this know that if your honey starts getting chilled or it sits too long, it's going to crystallize. And crystallized honey isn't bad. Matter of fact, honey never goes bad, but you need to warm it up a little bit to melt it back into honey. And very few people want to buy crystallized honey. And in the honey house, I had all my honey stored in there. And we already had some pretty cold temperatures. So, everything started crystallizing. So I knew I had to build a honey warmer just to warm it up enough to keep it from crystallizing any further and to melt it back into honey. So last week I was at an auction. I bought an old freezer. And I decided to use that freezer as a honey warmer instead of a freezer. So I saw the light socket in there just to run a light bulb, and I put 5 gallons of honey that I had that are starting to crystallize enough that they won't flow. So put those in there, and things were going good. It wasn't getting too hot, because last thing I want to do is burn my honey or cook any of the good stuff, that's natural stuff that's in honey. So I just want it warm enough to keep it from crystallizing. So like I say, things were going good. I've been checking on it every morning, every night. And last night I probably could have taken it out, but I decided leave it in there. That way today, when I go home from work, I could just put it in the jars and it would flow nice and have it all ready for tomorrow. Well, let me show you what I got going on. I came out here this morning to check on that and to collect quail eggs, and look what I had. A garage floor covered in honey. And now I've got bees that have found it, but now they're drowning in it because it's so thick on the floor. That is a dilemma. When I was switching that over and making it a honey warmer, I pushed on the shelves and I pushed on to make sure it doesn't hold the weight of a 5-gallon bucket of honey, because they're pretty heavy. And this seemed fine, so I put it in there, and I checked on it, no issues. But then I decided to put in, I'm not even sure, I'd have to go back in and count what's left of them in there that didn't break. I probably put a couple dozen pint jars in there, and I should have never done it. That was just too much weight for the shelf, and shelf broke. All the support broke, shelf fell. Of course, 5 gallons of warm honey upside down, filled that, and like I can't even open the door right now, because when I do, honey's just gonna keep flowing out of that freezer. It broke a lot of the mason jars in there, so I'd have to sit there and see how many's in there and go by that. But this simple mistake cost me, depending on what jars I was gonna use for these, if I was gonna go with all pints, this was probably between a $400 and $500 mistake. The voices in my head said, you should probably put something underneath that shelf to support it. But I told myself, no, I pushed on it. It's plenty strong. That was not the case. So not only did I lose $400 or $500, I lost all that time it took for the bees to make it. I lost all that time of harvesting it. And now I have to figure out how I'm going to clean up gallons of honey off my garage floor. Once the bees realize it's in here, since it's plenty warm enough for them to fly, I'll start getting bees in here. I'll have 1 million bees in here. Once they realize that all this honey's in here. And, you know, normally I wouldn't care. But it is what it is, I guess. I can't sit here and make camping in the sorrow of losing all this honey. I've got to clean it up, and I got to move on. I still have at least one more 5-gallon bucket, and I might have 70, 80 jars left of honey. So that's a big dilemma, losing that much honey this late in the season. Can't take any more. Here it is November. Bees need every drop they can get, and I just wasted all of that. So I don't know, I may even put a fan in front of the door to try to get some of the smell of the honey out, just so more bees come in here, and at least they can clean it up, a lot of it up, and take it back to their hives. But I can't do anything with it. So I just want to get on here and say to other beekeepers, if you're planning on building a honey warmer, don't trust the shelf brackets that come in a refrigerator or a freezer. If that's the route you plan on going, make your own shelf supports so you don't waste so much honey like I just did. It is what it is. I can't change it, so I just got to roll with it. Have a good day. God bless you all, and God bless the United States.